You're listening to the Valley Labor Report with David Story and Jacob Morrison.
We're going to bring on now Kooper Caraway. Kooper is the president of the South Dakota AFL-CIO, and we're going to talk about, he's going to get us caught up on the situation with the meatpacking workers in his state. Kooper, can you remind us, we talked about it a few weeks ago, and if people want more details, they can go listen to that conversation. We had a pretty extended conversation about that, but just give us the top line. What were they going through? Why did they authorize a strike there?
Yeah, so I'll give you a crash course real quick. So what happened was the Smithfield workers experienced last year the number one hotspot in the United States for the coronavirus. Over 1,200 workers tested positive, several died, and all year they're being told they're essential, they're heroes, they're this, they're that. They came to the bargaining table this year, and they're treated like disposable parts of the machinery of the plant. Not only are their wages and other things rejected, but they're asked to make concessions when it comes to the amount of breaks they take and the amount of unpaid leave and stuff like that. So the workers decided, pretty quickly that's unacceptable. They stood together. They voted 99% to reject management's proposal, then voted 98% in favor of strike authorization. Now, this plant produces about 5% of the United States pork product in total. And so I think that the company bosses at Smithfield, probably getting pressure from other parts of the country, decided that it was much cheaper to go ahead and back down and give the workers what they wanted rather than risk a strike.
Right. That was something that I read in an interview or a statement by one of your by one of the folks in the UFCW there, that the company they felt like the company was really taken aback by the militancy, by the fact that they voted to authorize a strike. All 4,200 of these workers, many of whom are immigrants and are thus in a kind of precarious situation, 98% of them voted to authorize a strike. That really took the company by surprise and really increased their bargaining power when they went to the table. So what was it that they were able to win in this tentative agreement?
Yeah, so they were able to get the wage increases that they were asking for. They got nearly $2 an hour wage increases added on to the base pay, which is, which changes the life of a working class person who's working paycheck to paycheck. Then they were able to defend all the stuff that they had before. The company was asking for the elimination of one of their 15-minute breaks. The company withdrew that eventually. The company was asking to limit the amount of unpaid leave these workers could take in order to go back home to their home countries and see their families and things like this. And the company backed down from that proposal as well. And so basically the workers got what they were fighting for, and the company backed down.
That's awesome. Is there anything that they asked for, that the workers were asking for in negotiations that they didn't get?
Throughout the course of the initial negotiations, the workers were at the table in good faith. Mm-hmm. And so they were working with the bosses a little bit, trying to do a little bit of give and take and stuff like that. But when it became clear that the bosses weren't sharing that same energy, the workers decided that, we need what we need, or we're going to walk. And the bosses ended up backing down.
That's really great. And so, when is the vote on the tentative agreement?
They should be voting this week.
Should be voting this week, so we'll be able to tell everybody whether or not they accepted it next week. But from what we're hearing, it sounds like they got basically everything that they asked for. So that's really fantastic. Kooper, what would you say is the what should people take away from this?
Yeah, what folks need to understand is a few things. Number one is that if you go to the table with anything off the table, then you're negotiating with two hands tied behind your back. And so nobody wants to strike, but you can't take it off the table, because as soon as you take it off the table, the boss knows you took it off the table, and they're not going to work with you because there's no threat to them, and there's no threat to their livelihood. And so no matter what local you are, no matter what the laws are in your area, you need to go to the table with all the potential weapons at your disposal, and every card you have tucked right into that back pocket of yours. Otherwise, you're negotiating with two hands tied behind your back. And number two, you got to build solidarity. I was in the early stages of this struggle. I was with you guys, talking to you all, and I was also, on many different, labor shows all over the country, trying to build solidarity. And I think the work, the bosses saw that. The bosses saw how sympathetic the folks down in Alabama were, and that y'all were willing to stand in solidarity with us up here. And they saw the same thing all over the country in different parts of the world. So, the bosses can isolate and attempt to intimidate workers if they're allowed to isolate those workers. But if workers all over the country and all over the world stand up and say they're in solidarity with these workers, then it's the bosses who end up intimidated.
Right.
Well, and I think something that you mentioned earlier that really stuck with me is that 5% of the entire country's pork products are coming out of these plants, these Smithfield plants that you guys were fighting in. And I think that is a testament to something that the Teamsters that were on last week brought up, is how important it is to organize in those places that are essential to the economy. Because I can only imagine what would happen if 5% of America's pork products just disappeared and didn't hit the shelves. That would impact a lot of people's lives beyond just those workers and their families. So I think that's kudos to you guys for being able to leverage that position in the supply chain to gain some really important victories. Yeah,
and I think that's going to be crucial moving forward. That was initially Jimmy Hoffa's tactic. The elder Jimmy Hoffa's tactic, understood the importance of the trucking industry and developing these kind of master freight agreements and whatnot at strategic economic choke points. And I think that labor movement's serious about building power, leverage, and organizing across this country has to focus on a lot of those choke points.
All workers deserve fair wages, affordable health care, and a retirement plan that enables them to retire with dignity. All workers deserve to have a say about the terms and conditions of their employment, not just the bosses. With the machinist union's over 600,000 members having our back, Local Lodge 44 in Decatur, Alabama has been serving workers' interests for over 20 years. Our members have the best health insurance in the area with zero deductible plans. We set the bar for pay in the area with over $40 an hour rates, consistently averaging the highest non-college degree jobs in North Alabama with some of the best retirement plans in the industry. We can do the same for you. Together, we remain united, raising our voices to ensure justice on the job and service in the community. The Machinist Union is a true Southern union founded in Atlanta in 1888. We have been serving members' needs for 132 years. The longevity of our union proves our dedication and loyalty to the working class. The Machinist Union isn't just for machinists. We represent workers in government, healthcare, auto workers, aerospace workers, transportation workers, the defense industry, and woodworking. Our members even build the iconic Harley-Davidson motorcycles. If you're ready to get serious about better benefits and wages, if you want to have a voice in your workplace with over 600,000 members to back you up, call or email us today at 256-286-3704 or organize at iamaw44.org.
If you want to see what we're up to throughout the week and get our snide quips about the news of the day, then you should follow us on social media. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/The Valley Labor Report. We are on Twitter at Labor Reporters. I'm on Twitter at JacobM_AL. And if you missed part of the show and want to go back and watch it later, you can search YouTube for The Valley Labor Report and subscribe to our channel. You can go back and watch the full show there, and we also clip segments and release them throughout the week. We also upload the program on more than 11 different podcasting apps. So to see if we are on your listening platform of choice, you can go to thevalleylaborreport.transistor.fm/subscribe. We've got a website where you can buy our hats and stickers. We've only got 20 hats left, so you're going to want to grab one of those before we're out. That's thevalleylaborreport.org. And finally, if you appreciate our work and want to help us stay on the air, consider throwing us a couple dollars a month on patreon.com/The Valley Labor Report.